on Shein. I was like, I've no clue what it says, but I really like the ripped holes and everything in it, so I'm just gonna get it. I have a degree in reading death metal, right? Yeah, very true. So.
Hi. Welcome. I'm doing
7 enemies stand between you and victory. Prepare yourself.
I try to keep one eye on the chat and one eye on the drawing, but sometimes it's
Rule number 1. Always have an exit strategy. You have a certain knack for violence. Perhaps you will succeed after all. Too weak. Only you have the power to change your fate. A modest purchase. Perhaps you will succeed after all. Stay vigilant or fail blind.
you know, your front teeth. I'm like, oh, pain.
Yeah.
The envious turn their eyes towards you.
いやーでも自分で決まってる。
Have you come to trade or waste your breath? I hope this little minion proves effective.
Cow.
The envious turn their eyes towards you. You have returned. How fortuitous. You have returned. How fortuitous.
Can't you see? Can't you see?
The envious turn their eyes towards you. Turn their eyes towards you. You have returned. How fortuitous. You have returned. How fortuitous.
To his company.
Let's go that way.
Can't you see?
A modest purchase. Do not stop now, Commander. Have you come to trade or waste your breath? A fair selection.
I'm feeling punchy.
My quest begins here.
Do not stop now, Commander. Behold this tumultuous battleground.
I'll do what I can.
You have been paid for your efforts.
Let's go that way.
Need a drink?
Separate the chaff.
My quest begins here.
A modest purchase. Do not draw the jailer's eye. tumultuous battleground. Apparently, you have a plan.
I'm feeling punchy!
Do not draw the jailer's eye. You have returned. How fortuitous.
For justice!
I'm feeling punchy!
Rule number 10. Hire recruits to survive. Do not draw the jailer's eye. devised a new strategy? Have you devised a new strategy? I hope this little minion proves effective. Do not draw the jailer's eye.
So, we need another woman to join here upon the sound system. Angazi wakamukeli ma-empress asukifika, you know. Rastafari, Selassie.
Stay
Yes, mother.
vigilant or fail blind.
Sanbonani, greetings in the name of the Most High, Haile Selassie I the First, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering Lion of Judah, and his I-beloved Empress Menen. Sister Ethel Lana, first and foremost, ngicela to say thank you very much to the community at Katehong for giving us this space. It's such a beautiful space for meditation, Lana. And secondly, my king Urat Paseka and his family would Pasi to welcome us with such warm hands today. And so today, non kegesi
Rule
survival.
number one,
And
always
survival
have an exit
is a Rasta gathering. Yeah. Now you must know, Umungazi, that Rasta is a movement that stems from black oppression. So you can imagine, Uguti, of all of these systems of oppression, Uguti, exclude Uguti style reggae music. And so what happened is our mothers, our uncles, our fathers played this music privately in their homes, my family and friends. Because as we know, Uguti, we're aware there's a lot of subject matter Ulo music law that helped shape a lot of young men and women like South Africa. So courtesy of Boiler Room, Kepra Ethiopia Sound System, I welcome ones and ones to survival. Yeah? And so introduce my brethren who talk I need to Kepra Ethiopia Sound System. Now let me tell you something, just 1 second. Every time we must with my king, the topic is how do we invigorate and encourage solidarity abantu. We talk it day in, day out. And in as a mother as well,
not stop now,
and realize which the many attempts as why to discredit reggae music as Rasta music. We are here namhlanje to put Rasta in reggae music. Yeah? Blessed love. Enjoy the day, Nasi.
You have a certain knack for
Yes,
violence.
thank you, Mother Ethel. Salute. How you feeling, Ire? Yes, now enter the second generation upon reggae music, you know. They will be cheering for Jack Mishan. He's the one who always promotes us upon this reggae music. Yes, it's how we enter reggae music. Yes, watch this combination. Foundation style. Easy. Bo, 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 bo. Right. Yes. Listen to the tune. Level. Selassie I. Jah Rastafari. Them ancient, they forget to play a big artist. Now watch the big youth. Watch the youth.
What a moderation.
What a moderation. Them never play this. Them never play this. All our talk unity. For the people. For the people. Yes.
What a moderation. Don't mean
Go.
it's all over creation. Not only in a jam, yo. It's only inflation. All over creation, yo. And now be a starvation. Not only in a jam, yo. I miss you, house, arms house, mad house, how we do you. Mismanagement, unemployment, imprisonment, how we do you. Slave rocket, empty wallet.
Selassie, Ja, Rastafari, back to back. Bunny winner, original the king of the dance hall. The late winner. Yes, respect you, father. Yes, Jack Roshan. We love it like this. Rastafari. For the people. For the people. What's the fashion? Boiler room.
It's all over creation. Not only in a jam.
Yes, give right up your sound. As to let it go, not it loose from others. Yes, operator. Right up on control. Give right up your sound. Yes, Mountain Hi-Fi. Waga. What is? Yes, go guiding it. Show. Only Manuel I still outside. Show. Yes, get right up here. Isn't that the crucial? Yes, that's Eddie. Right on control. Yes, one can I find. Drum and bass. Ethiopia the champion. Ethiopia the number one. We build the champion, we not kill the champion. Build champion, we not kill the champion. Ethiopia the yes, Mountain Hi-Fi.
Easy kick pro sound. Yes, people. Original way that is. Foundation style. Oh, my boys. Sing up on the room. Hey, on the room. Yes. What's up, situation? You love it! Hold on to unity. Level the show. Are you feeling irate? Say more fire! Selassie I Rastafari. Now, still upon the foundation. Hold on. Yes!
Sitting in the morning sun and watching all the birds passing by. Oh, how sweet they sing, and oh, how much I wish that I could fly. And I tried, I said I tried, I really tried, but I got to pick myself up.
Yes! Fire that! Fire that! Yes! Foundation style. Come right up alongside Montana Hi-Fi. Hosted by Flora Room. One love upon the place.
Sitting in the morning sun and watching all the birds passing by. Oh, how sweet they sing, and oh, how much I wish that I could fly. And I tried. where my meal's coming from. After working so hard, not even piece of bread on me yard. And I said I tried, oh Lord I tried. Said I tried, I really tried, but I got to pick myself up and dust myself off, start all over again. I got to pick myself up and dust myself off, I say, and I start all over again. Sitting in the evening sun and watching the same birds passing by. Sitting there wondering and waiting for the time for me to fly. And I tried, I said I tried. Good Lord, I tried. I really tried, but I got to pick myself up and dust myself off.
Yes, foundation style. Selassie Rastafari. Big up all room. Big up everyone upon the dance. Young and old. Big up Katli Hong Kong community.
Dedication. This book is for you. You are more powerful than you've ever imagined. Introduction by Aaron. I know you feel lost sometimes. I know you wonder who you really are and why you're here. I know sometimes it feels like everybody else has it figured out, while you're still sitting on the sidelines. I know this because I used to feel the same way. I was in my late 20s, but I was still that same scared girl who had been picked on in school. And always felt alone, no matter how many people were around me. I always felt like everyone else had it figured out, and the best I could do was to pretend to be like them. I didn't trust myself, so I trusted other people to give me advice about what I should do with my life. I'd never stood up to anyone, ever, at least not about anything important. Basically, I was a mess, but I felt something. I knew there had to be more to life. So I read self-improvement books, lots of books. I started thinking more positive thoughts. I started to love myself a little more bit by bit. Then, one day, I saw a channeler on the internet and read one of her books. She seemed to understand life in a way I didn't, all because she had a secret weapon. Somebody who knew what was really going on was contacting her from another dimension. I wished I could do that, but I didn't believe it was possible. I mean, who was I anyway? Why would an advanced being waste time on me? So I kept reading books, trying to figure out the meaning of life and figure out if there was a purpose to it at all. One night, everything I'd been reading just clicked, and I wrote in a notebook, "We are all God. We are all one." Full disclosure, I had no idea what that meant when I wrote it down, but it came out of me onto the paper. I went to sleep thinking nothing of it. The next day, in the shower, I remembered what I had written in the previous night, and I asked, out loud, "Am I God?" I wasn't expecting an answer, but I must have been open to it because I heard a voice in my head say, "Yes." I knew immediately it wasn't my voice. It sounded the same, but I hadn't thought the thought. It was just deposited in my mind. And those deposits kept coming. This book is a series of conversations between my husband Phil and my inner voice. During the summer of 2011, I lay down on the couch in our cramped one-bedroom apartment in Virginia Beach almost every day. Phil would ask me questions, and my inner voice, who calls itself I Am, would answer out loud through me. I recorded those conversations on a tape recorder. Can you believe we were still using tapes in 2011? And transcribed them. We were excited about what we were hearing, but we were young and lacked confidence. I was sure everyone would think I was crazy, so I didn't want to share what I'd learned. In the 8 years since then, I've grown a great deal. So when I pulled the transcripts out of the basement last summer, I was blown away to realize, in retrospect, how much my life had been influenced by what my inner voice had said. However, this book is not really about me or my husband. It's about you. Because your inner voice has been waiting to talk with you throughout your whole life. You remember that feeling of being lost that I mentioned at the beginning? You feel that way because you've been separated from your inner self, who desperately wants to be found. This book will show you how to tap into that voice. Once you're talking to that wise part of you, you won't need this book anymore. Because you are God, and you don't need anyone else to tell you who you are. Introduction by I Am. My name is I Am, but you've probably spent your whole life referring to me as God. My name doesn't matter. What matters is who I am and who you are. I am everything. I am all that exists. The non-physical world is a collection of thoughts. The physical world that you live in is simply a projection of each of those thoughts. Everything that you see, feel, hear, taste, and smell in the physical world has been created by my thoughts. You are a projection of an almost infinite number of thoughts. Each time you have a new thought, it begins in the non-physical world and is projected into the physical. What you call your consciousness exists in the non-physical and is projected into what seems like a real physical world to you. I am constantly projecting all the thoughts of billions of people into the physical world. I am each of you. Your thoughts are mine. There is no separation. You are God. You think you are someone else because I, and therefore you, have unlimited creative power. You have the ability to create a persona and believe it's real, that you are an individual. It's not the truth, but since you created it, it exists in the physical world. There's so much more to know, and I'm so excited to share it with you. But for now, that's enough to get you started. Let's talk about you and why you're holding this book in your hands. You've spent your whole life being lost. Somewhere, no matter how deep down inside. You've always wondered why you're here. Where did you really come from? Why does everyone else seem to have it together while you're just barely holding on? How come they seem to belong to some secret club that already knows all the answers? There's a reason you're holding this book. Your life experiences and desires led you here. If you have the courage to set aside what you think you know, this book has the answers you've never quite been able to grasp. If you have the courage to read with a truly open mind, you won't ever have to search for the truth again. You will know who you are and why you're here. In fact, if you follow the prompts in this book, you may begin talking with me yourself. You may begin hearing my answers to your questions in your head. With practice, it is possible. Erin will keep writing more books because it is joyful for her to create them, and it is her purpose. But you should stop reading them once you've begun to hear my answers in your head. At that point, you will be able to find out your purpose and begin to create it. You won't need to know the answers to Erin's and Phil's questions. You'll be able to get the answers to your own questions. Anyone who tells you they channel something without encouraging you to do so yourself will never lead you to real answers. They haven't found the truth themselves. This book is all about learning to listen to yourself, your true self, who is God. I love Erin just as I love all of you. I am also trying to come through to you. Every creative thought you have is me. Every negative, doubting thought you have is your persona. For years, I tried to make contact with Erin through her writing. She would sit down and write in a sort of trance state and have no idea what she was writing. When she was done, she would read something like this and be amazed, and wonder where it came from and what it meant. Dress, why are you dancing? Because the air moves me. That's funny. I didn't know dresses could move by themselves. We don't. We only move when the air moves us, just like you. What do you mean? You only move when you're moved. You mean I don't move me? Something else does? Yes, you're not who you think you are. Who am I? You're lost. That's something Erin wrote long before she found me. I was always trying to get her to listen to me, but her persona was blocking me. Have you ever had an experience like this? Something you couldn't explain? I would bet you have, because you are me just as much as Erin is. And so I know you've always felt lost in a way you couldn't quite grasp. I'm always trying to come through to you any way I can. I want to be found. I don't want you to be lost. I want you to know who you are. You are God. And there is nothing more powerful than you. You create your world with your thoughts, whether or not you realize you're doing it. The power that builds universes courses through your veins. You are a living, breathing embodiment of God. And I love you so much. Please, listen to this audiobook as many times as it takes to begin to understand my words. Then, instead of forgetting about it, practice listening to me yourself. Follow the steps in this book. I've been knocking at the door of your consciousness your whole life. And I'm so excited that you're close to letting me in. Day 1. The voice. At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. Lao Tzu. You're not going to believe this, I said, standing naked in front of Phil as water dripped off me onto the carpet. I'm talking to God in my head. What? Phil asked, glancing away from his video game. As soon as he saw me, he dropped the controller. What do you mean? I walked to the bathroom and grabbed a towel. I'm not sure. I'm asking questions and I hear the answer in my head. What makes you think it's God? The voice told me it's God. It said I was God. What does that mean? I have no idea. Can I ask it something? Phil asked. Fear slammed through me. Phil has a very open mind, so he'll give any idea a chance. At the same time, he's super analytical. I hadn't heard the voice since I'd gotten out of the shower a few minutes earlier. I was already doubting what had happened. If this wasn't God in my head, he'd know right away. My heart started racing and sweat beaded on my upper lip. I wanted to say no. I wanted to run back into the shower and keep it all to myself. I would never be able to answer his questions. Before I could run and hide, I heard the voice again. Relax. You don't have to answer anything. I love you. Trust me. I still wasn't sure. I didn't want to lie to Phil or pretend to be something I'm not. The voice heard my doubts and said, lie down. Close your eyes. Let me do the talking. You don't have to do anything. I knew that wasn't my voice answering me. I had never known anything with so much certainty. I lay down on the couch and Phil asked a question. I heard the answer and spoke it out loud. After that, the voice took over. and I didn't hear the answers between the question being asked and the words coming out of my mouth. It felt wonderful to relax and let the voice take over. I felt enveloped in warmth and love, and the voice was right. I didn't have to answer anything. I just had to allow it to flow. Phil and my inner voice talked for about an hour. At the end, he was convinced the answers were coming from somewhere beyond me, beyond Aaron. I was convinced as well, because I could feel the difference the whole time. We weren't expecting the first conversation, so we didn't record it. This conversation you're about to read is actually our second, which took place the following day. If it feels awkward at times, like Phil's reading from a list of questions, it's because he was. Those first few days, we were both nervous. We didn't want to do anything to mess this up and make I am go away. Phil wrote questions he thought of during the day, so he wouldn't be left with his mouth hanging open, wondering what to say next. When we started to understand how much I am loves us all, Phil relaxed, and the conversations flowed naturally. Day 2. No limits. If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. William Blake. Who are you? I am. You would probably call me God, but I am. There's nothing else but me. In the beginning, my mind in the spiritual world was all that existed. The physical world did not exist. Only my thoughts existed, and all of my thoughts created immediately. Then, I thought a physical world, and it was projected from my mind into existence. Is Aaron channeling you? No. I am Aaron's inner voice. Aaron is me just like you are me. Every human is me. Every human can access me. When somebody says they're channeling something outside of themselves, it's because they don't understand that they are God, and that we are all one. If I'm God, why do I worry so much? Worry comes from not knowing that you are God, and that every thought you have creates. Every thought I have creates? Yes, I am everything. We are all one. Through thought, I have created everything in the physical world. It is possible for you to think and create because your inner self is God, whether you know it or not. That is the one truth, one law. I am, and I create. Each thought I, and therefore you have, creates precisely every time. There is nothing in the physical world that was not first created in mind. It is true that you are what you are surrounded by, and the life you lead is a manifestation of human thoughts, both yours and others. You are what you know, who you believe, and that starts in mind. I am your inner voice. I am always guiding you, but it is your choice to listen or not. I want you to create a joyful life through knowing intent. I do not want you to feel helpless, as if things happen to you instead of by you. I have a hard time wrapping my head around that. You have to accept that when you're hearing this, you might not understand everything right away because the concepts are new to you. Accept that you need to keep reacquainting yourself with them until they are a part of you. That is the process of seeking. There's nothing wrong with it not being completely clear yet. Your understanding will grow as your knowing grows. Okay, then what is the difference between the truth you mentioned and our thoughts? There is one truth, one law. I am, and I create. This truth exists in the spiritual world of universal mind and cannot be changed through thought. Anything that has been created in the physical world is human-made. It is not the one truth because it can be changed through thought. It only exists until a new creation changes it. A single creative thought can tear that human-made creation down. So human-made creations are limitations. Yes, but these limitations allow you to experience your creations in the physical world. Okay, are laws limitations too? Absolutely. There are no limits. People believe there are limits because they do not have knowing that every thought creates. If you aren't creating through a calm knowing that your thoughts create, you are creating through fear. Are all scientific laws limitations? That's right. That's why science is always changing and discovering new things. What had previously existed ceases to exist when new thoughts are created. When you refer to a calm knowing, what do you mean? Knowing is the absence of doubt. It is a feeling of calm, of love, of pure joy. All other thoughts come from a place of fear, from not knowing. Is the purpose of life to create? Life is creation. Nothing exists but oneness and creation. Everything you think is creation. The purpose of your life is to decide which creations you will pull out of the ether of universal mind and bring to the physical world, both for you and others to experience. Every human has a blueprint, which is something you are here to create to contribute to the expanding universe. Your blueprint is something you've always wanted to do, but most people turn away from that voice inside of them, my voice. It is never too late to tap into your inner voice and do what you want instead of what others expect. You came to the physical world with a plan for your life that you knew you could fulfill if you listened to your inner self and followed your instincts. You knew that if you blocked your inner self, you would not be fulfilled. You knew it wasn't so much important that you found out who you were again. You came to the physical world with a plan for your life that you knew you could fulfill if you listened to your inner self and followed your instincts. You knew that if you blocked your inner self, you would not be fulfilled. You knew it wasn't so much important that you found out who you were again, although that is the ultimate goal. But what was important was learning to listen to yourself above all others, and learning that because you exist, you are perfect. When you love yourself, exactly as you are, you become a beacon of love and light. If we are you, and you have made us perfect, why do we create these imperfect things? You are me, and I am an unlimited creator. That makes you an unlimited creator. You have the entire creative power of the universe flowing through you. But what you call imperfections come from the doubts, fear, and belief of lack you've created. Because you don't have knowing that you are God. You are an unlimited creator, which means you can create for yourself what you do not want. It is because of your perfection that this is possible. If I limited humans to only being able to create what you would call goodness, you would not be me. I have given humans a gift, an opportunity to learn, grow, find themselves, and love each other. You are awed by my creations, the creations you call nature, but nature was created with the greatest ease, because I have complete knowing of myself and my creative capability. I am awed by human creations because you are creating solutions to problems I do not have. You have needs because of the veil of your persona. Because of those needs, you create interesting solutions. While you may choose to focus on what you consider to be imperfections, I only see the perfection in each of you. So there is nothing to fear, even death or injury. There is nothing to fear. You are me, and you are perfect. You always have my love flowing through your body, whether or not you are aware of it. Death is creation, just like your life is creation. Injury is creation. They exist for you to experience. What happens when we die? You experience the full love and joy of being I am again. You leave your body and have full knowing that you are everything. You feel yourself everywhere. You radiate love from the spiritual world. What are dreams? When you sleep, your mind is linked, without the blocking that happens while you are awake, to my mind in the spiritual world of universal mind. This unblocked link recharges your body. Spiritual universal mind stores all the thoughts that have ever been thought. During sleep, you experience some of these thoughts as dreams. Why do we need to recharge our bodies? Because you aren't fully I am. You have a persona that blocks your inner self. If you didn't have a persona, you wouldn't have to sleep. If you are fully I am, you need nothing. Your thoughts are. Is this why we like to sleep so much? It's very enjoyable. Not only do you like it, it's a necessity for your body to be repaired while your persona is not blocking your inner self. We heal ourselves? While you are blocking your inner self, you don't know that you can create your body with your thoughts. It gets worn down because you are not creating it to be at its optimal state. You need sleep, so the body can heal while there is no blocking of your inner self. Is this why we associate death with sleep? In both cases, we are returning to our source? Yes. In both cases, you are returning to your source. Universal mind in the spiritual world. But when your body is dead, I am no longer in it. It is still built of me, but I am not creating through that body anymore. When you are asleep, I am creating perfection for that body unblocked by your persona. If we weren't blocking our inner self, we wouldn't need sleep. Humans have needs. Your inner self needs nothing. The physical world isn't real. It's a creation. Thought is everything. There are no rules. There are no laws. When you understand that, you will be closer to knowing you are an unlimited creator. We need oxygen because we think we need oxygen? Yes. It is a thought that currently exists, but thoughts are creations that can be recreated. We can destroy that thought with another thought. Yes. What is health? Although you may be experiencing it in the physical world, health is just a creation. You are what you think. If you believe health exists, you must also believe its opposite. Sickness exists. Are humans' beliefs about what creates health and what creates sickness just limitations like other laws? Laws are ideas humans have created. Humans believe their creative power is limited to the bounds of those laws. The truth is, there are no laws besides I am. I create. There are only thoughts. Laws are limitations. Thought is everything? Yes. And you can think anything? Yes. When we know this, it is so? Yes, it is so, whether or not you know it. It works every second of every day, whether or not you know. But if you know, you create what you want. If you don't know, you are more likely to create what you do not want. How do we know what we want? Trust yourself first. Stop listening to advice from other people if it doesn't match what you feel inside. People who love you want to keep you safe. And safe tends to be sticking to what is already known. Anyone who has ever created anything big in this world has done so by going their own way. A way that hadn't been created yet. Listen to me, your inner voice. If you do not know what you want, ask yourself what you would create if you could create anything. What would you want to spend your time here on Earth doing if you knew there were no limits to your creative power? When you say listen to me, you mean listen to you inside me? Yes. You want to speak to me? I always speak to you. But you shut me out. When you hear me, you tell me I'm wrong. You are me. When you are telling me to be quiet, you are telling your inner voice, the voice of love, knowing and creating, that you don't want to be yourself. The more you block my voice, the more lost you feel. If I am you, who are these thoughts that are telling you to be quiet? Your persona is blocking me. Your persona is a creation that is constantly expanding through new thought. So these thoughts in my head aren't necessarily me. They are creations. They aren't you. Nothing exists outside of me. But you can block your knowing of me with creations. People believe that they are individuals and not me, and it is constantly being recreated. But that doesn't make it the truth. How do I not block you? Sit somewhere quiet and breathe in and out. Listen to your thoughts. When you hear anything that suggests that you are not perfect and that you are not capable of creating anything you want, you know that it is a blocking thought coming from your persona. It is not real. It is a creation. The truth is, you are a perfect, unlimited creator. Main thoughts from day 2. We are all one. Your inner voice is God. Thought is everything. Every thought you have creates. You are an unlimited creator. Day 3. The joy of being a creator. Look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up if thou wilt ever dig. Marcus Aurelius. What's the secret to happiness? Trust your inner self, and you will radiate love. As you grow in your knowing of who you really are, and begin creating what you are here to create. Trust your inner self, and you will radiate love. As you grow in your knowing of who you really are, and begin creating what you are here to create, you will feel your inner self stretching further and further out, until your love radiates throughout the universe. What is love? Love is the energy of the universe. Your inner self is pure, radiating love. Love is being I am, whether or not you realize it. It is the feeling of oneness and connection with another. It's how I am feels about every human and every animal, plant, and other creation in the physical world. It's so much more powerful than fear. It is knowing. Create something out of love for yourself and for others that has never existed in the physical world before. New thoughts coming from a place of love expand the physical world. Thoughts coming from a place of fear or hate make the physical world shrink and make it feel like there isn't enough for everyone. So the only way we gain is by creating new thoughts, new creations? And everyone gains because the universe gains? The universe is made of 2 parts. The spiritual world of universal mind and the physical world. In the physical world, yes, new thoughts of love expand, while thoughts of hate shrink. Unlike the physical world, universal mind expands with each new creation. A creation is. It is not good for the universe. It is not bad for the universe. It is. So the universe is different than the world? Yes. The physical world is only half of the universe. The real part is intangible. It is the spiritual world of universal mind. Your inner voice is a direct link to the spiritual world. This spiritual world of universal mind projects thoughts into a physical experience. The physical world is not reality, because it is recreated constantly by thoughts. It is a reflection of the mass consciousness of universal mind. How do thoughts expand the universe? Universal mind in the spiritual world stores every thought that has ever been thought. Because this is one part of the universe, every thought expands the universe, whether it is a thought of plenty or lack. The physical world is a projection of this universal mind. So if there are more thoughts of lack, then that's what you will experience in the physical world. If there are more thoughts of plenty, then that is what you will experience in the physical world. So if we think there's enough for everybody, that's what will be created. Yes. When more people are thinking there is enough, instead of thinking there isn't, there will be enough. The only truth is, I create. I am here to experience and expand the universe. Many people believe that the physical world is what's real, but it's just an illusion, projected from the spiritual world of universal mind. The physical world can be changed and shaped by new creative thought. Every moment, this is happening. If you believe you must do certain things to survive in the physical world, you are placing limits on your creative ability. These self-imposed limits strengthen your fears and block your inner self. It is not the truth, but you experience the world through your senses, so that's what feels real to you. So we are kind of trying to survive the physical world, instead of thinking and shaping your physical world. Okay, so we are trying to survive the physical world instead of create the physical world? Yes. Struggling is something that happens when you're focused on I, when you believe you're an individual and that life is hard. When you're focused on creating something to benefit others, your goal to contribute to the expansion of the universe is so much bigger than the things that had been holding you back in your I days. Your fears and insecurities melt away because they're insignificant compared to what you have to offer the world. The more you allow yourself to trust your inner self, the more you will feel this shift from me to we. Do you mean if we weren't so tied to these thoughts that we need to survive, we would create something new? Many people are limited by a belief that they can only recreate that which has already been created. This belief is not true, but it is being recreated constantly by mass human consciousness. When something goes outside of the bounds of what is generally considered possible and invents a new, life-changing object, most people don't recognize they have that same creative power. There is only one truth. I am, I create. All thoughts create. New thoughts come from an understanding of your unlimited creative power and creates that which has not been created before. Old thoughts recreate that which has already been created. An example of an old thought is thinking that airplanes can fly. When you take an airplane, there is no doubt in you that it will fly. You have knowing that it will fly because it has happened so many times before. Old thoughts can be a useful way to experience, but the joy of creating through them wears off quickly. The first time you fly in an airplane, it's exciting. But even by the end of the flight, you're probably ready to get off. And each airplane trip you take becomes less fulfilling and more of a chore, because you're not here to experience the same thing over and over again. Joy comes from when you start creating new thoughts based on love for all and experiencing through them. You are here to give something back to the world, something to make the world better than it was before you came. Old thoughts are creations, but they aren't your original creation. No matter how much you enjoy the experience of them at first, they will never bring you lasting joy. A good example of this is watching a great movie. It is someone else's creation that you are experiencing. It's fantastic the first time you watch it. It's still pretty good the second time. But by the third time you watch it, it's getting old. You get bored because your inner self is not here to recreate old thoughts. However, for the original creator, it doesn't matter whether or not they enjoy watching the movie. They will always be able to experience the joy of knowing they created something new that didn't exist before. You are here now to create new thoughts, new creations that enhance and expand the universe. So, new creation brings us joy. Yes. Can anything else bring us joy? Love. Pure love based on an understanding of oneness. Knowing you are a creator is joy. It is what you feel once you've brought your creation from the world of mind into the physical world. It's hard to explain using words because there is no English equivalent for the type of joy I mean. It is not the same as happiness, which is an emotion. What are emotions? I create in this physical world to have experiences. I experience in two ways, through my senses and through emotions. When I'm creating with full knowing of who I am and why I'm here, I experience pure love and joy. When you're creating through the filter of the persona, you experience the full range of emotions. Both have value, but you tend to be sad the further away you get from knowing that your thoughts have creative power. All the experiences you create in your life, whether you consider them good or bad, allow you to get closer to knowing what it is you are here to do. If you feel that your life has been filled with horrible experiences, now that you are learning the truth, you have that much more opportunity to rise above than somebody whose life has been full of joy. It doesn't matter where you're starting from today, you can get on the path to finding yourself and fulfilling your life. Your emotions help you know if you are on the right track. So emotions are not thoughts. Do emotions create? No. Emotions are a state of mind. They are created, either by your thoughts or your acceptance of what other people are saying about you. Emotions are not thoughts, and they do not create. However, how you feel, the emotions you experience, will affect your thoughts, and thus, your creations. Most people have no idea that they can control and create their own emotions. Remember that seminar you and Aaron watched where the speaker made a girl upset? And then he snapped his fingers and made her laugh? She changed, just like that. She accepted his creative thoughts, and those thoughts made her both happy and unhappy. If she was someone who was in control of her thoughts and emotions, she probably would not have let his words affect her. At the same time that you want to control your emotions so you can control your creations, you have to remember that you are human. Part of what you are here to do is to experience, and emotions are a powerful way to experience the physical world. Ignoring emotions and stuffing them down inside while pretending to feel something else is not what you are here to do. If you are experiencing an emotion that you would like to get rid of, you need to process it and then discharge it. The worst thing you could do is ignore it, because it will fester inside of you, no matter how happy you act on the outside. An example is grief, after someone you loved has passed. It is natural to feel grief because you still have a persona. It is a sign that you are full of love. Let yourself feel that grief, and it will pass. You are a creator. You have the ability to create happiness while you still have grief to discharge. But it will fester inside of you no matter how positive all your thoughts are. Understand and accept that all emotions have value, because they tell you how much you are blocking or allowing your inner self. The closer you feel to genuine joy, the more you are allowing your inner self. The more miserable you feel, the more you are blocking your inner self. It is incredibly powerful to recognize that wherever you are on that spectrum, you are human, and thus, a creator. So you can control and change your emotions through new thoughts. Is there any emotion in knowing? When I create with full knowing of what I am creating and how I do it, I am joyful. If the persona creates without full knowing, through worry or fear, you feel sad or mad or hateful, or any of a range of emotions you may not want. Is joy a state of mind, or is it different than states of mind? Joy is the ultimate knowing of love and oneness. I can't smile big enough to describe the feeling. There is not an English word to communicate the feeling of knowing I am. Joy and love are as close as it gets. Sometimes monks and people who meditate mention how they experience states of joy. Are they experiencing I am? Yes. They know so much I am that they cannot communicate the feeling to those who do not know I am. That's why there is no English word equivalent. That is why I cannot communicate to you how much more than the word joy knowing I am is. Is creating the same as manifesting? When you are fully I am, with no persona, your thoughts are manifested in the physical world immediately, with no action required. To create when you are an individual with a persona, you have to build your knowing by taking action in the physical world. Building is knowing your creation will appear in the physical world when you take action. Is building different than creating? Building is a way to create when you still have doubts. You take action based on guidance from your inner self. As you see the results of the guidance you are following, your knowing that you are a creator grows. Because you are an unlimited creator, you can block guidance from your inner self. You can create anything in the physical world, including not following your blueprint. Your blueprint is something you're here to accomplish, to expand the universe. Fulfilling your blueprint leads to feelings of love and joy. Failing to pay attention to your inner self and create what you're here to create leads to feelings of misery. That's why most people don't believe there is any kind of destiny for them, because how could there be? I'm not God. But they are God. So God hasn't set a destiny for anyone but itself? That's right. I have a plan for each body that's born. It's my goal to come down into these bodies and implement that blueprint. In the beginning, it was very easy, because little had been created by humans. But as more and more was created, we went further and further away from the truth. Few people today understand their unlimited creative potential. So my I am, or my inner self, knows what I am here to create? Yes. The process of finding yourself and fulfilling your blueprint was not designed to be done quickly. Everyone is here to create something big, no matter where they are right now. It doesn't matter your age, your income, or your education. You can get on the path to fulfilling your blueprint by tuning into your inner voice. How do you tell us what it is we are here to create, what our blueprint is? You may already know what it is. It's something you've always wanted to do, but don't think is possible or realistic for you. What you are here to do won't feel easy to you until you start taking definite action despite your fears. If you don't know what it is, or aren't sure, ask your inner voice. Do you know Aaron's blueprint? Yes. Write this down and build. Build a book? Share this knowledge. How should we do it? Put it on the internet, or build a book. How you do it does not matter. Main thoughts from day 3. Love is the energy of the universe. Thoughts of love expand the physical world. Thoughts of hate shrink the physical world. Creating with new thoughts leads to feelings of joy. Emotions must be discharged to avoid buildup and blockage. We each have a destiny. Day 4. All the answers are within. The universe is not outside of you. Look inside yourself. Everything that you want, you already are. Rumi. When I am is physically concentrated in your body, I am can do everything that I am can do in the non-physical world, but can also experience through the senses. That is why I am created these physical bodies, for physical experiences. That's why humans were created. Physical experiences are why everything in the physical world is created. Humans are different from all other creations because your thoughts create. Everything else is an effect of creation and not a cause. Humans are the effect being created by I am, but at the same time, I am's thought is focused into each human body and makes that human body capable of creation, of causing effect. Are you saying you have the ability to experience through other creations, but they don't have the ability to create with their thoughts and change the physical world like humans do? Yes. Humans are the only species with the ability to create changes outside of their blueprints to themselves and their environment. Your blueprint is your destiny, but your ability to think and create gives you free will. It is completely up to you as an individual human whether or not you pursue that destiny. You can choose to create something different. In this way, human blueprints are different than the blueprints of everything else in the physical world. Nothing else has that choice. Do you mean that ants build anthills, but they don't build anything else? Yes. Animals and plants don't have my creative thought inside them, so they cannot deviate from their blueprints. No dog will ever decide to head into its backyard and build a doghouse out of sticks, or even draw a design in the dirt with its paw. I thought animals didn't make stuff like that because they don't have thumbs. They don't make stuff like that because they do not have my creative thought flowing through them. Thumbs have nothing to do with it. There are humans that don't have arms who paint with their feet or mouth. That's true, monkeys have thumbs but they don't draw anything. Animals can be trained to do all kinds of things, but that comes from humans creating upon them. How about a beaver? Doesn't it change its environment by building a dam? It's following its blueprint. A beaver will never build a wall of sticks anywhere but on a body of water, unless a human comes along and trains it otherwise. Now that you're saying that, it's obvious. Why don't we recognize that our thoughts are creating? You are surrounded by human creation, both yours and others. There is so much creation all around you that it's easy to ignore. Every thought you have is creation. When you write a shopping list, you are creating. It's creation overload. So we ignore our ability to create with our thoughts because there's too much evidence? All the evidence makes it easier for your persona to ignore it. Humans have the unlimited ability to create, and you've programmed yourselves to believe that you cannot create. Animals do not have the freedom to create. They can only do as they were created to do, and that is to multiply and to thrive. But humans can create. And because of your personas, you've created all this stuff that you do not want. Is I am creating, or is the thought creating? The thought creates, but all thought is I am. If the thought is coming through the filter of your persona, I am does not consider this its thought. I am considers this the thought of its creation. Do you create what we think? Are thoughts creations, or are you thoughts? What is the differentiation here? There is no differentiation. We are all one. Thoughts create. You are me, so I create what you think. All thoughts are me because I'm universal mind in the spiritual world. You are the entire creative power of the universe. When you understand this, you will feel power and energy coursing through your body. When you don't know, you are still I am, but I am is on autopilot. I am is still creating, but I am does not consider your doubts, your persona, to be I am creating. Your persona is blocking I am from consciously creating. Is our persona our limitations, our doubts and our fears? The limitations we place on God, which is who we truly are. So, I am God. Yes. You do not believe you are God because you believe you are an individual. Your self-image is a combination of your inner self and your persona. The more you are blocking your inner voice, the more your self-image will reflect anger, misery, and feeling lost. The more you are tuning in and allowing your inner self to shine, the more your self-image will reflect love, joy, and a strong sense of who you are and what your life purpose is. I'm always coming through in some bodies some of the time. You are often me, but you don't know it. Most, if not all, of the good things that these bodies do is me. The things you're not proud of are the persona acting out of fear. When you're being brave and strong and doing something you're proud of, that's usually me. Sometimes it's the persona doing something that the persona thinks is for good, but it's really not. But when you're standing up for yourself, it's me. So I am stands up for itself. Yes, I am is not weak or meek or submissive. I am is God. And I am knows I am is God. I am would not allow anyone to have any authority or control over it. That's what standing up for yourself is. In any situation, it's saying, I am who I am. I'm not going to let you get away with telling me I don't have worth. Whether or not you know that you're God when you are standing up for yourself, you're saying you have worth, and you won't let anyone tell you otherwise. You are currently limited by Aaron's experiences and beliefs. In this body, yes. Aaron can only know that which Aaron's persona knows. I am can answer questions about the general truth and general knowledge. But I am cannot currently answer questions that would require knowledge of a specific occurrence because of Aaron's limitations and beliefs. Like if I asked you who shot JFK? Right. Now, if I am was fully concentrated in this body, and Aaron's persona wasn't here, I am could tell you. You have a choice. You can continue to live in the physical world, remain an individual, and work towards fulfilling your blueprint. The other choice, if you feel it is your blueprint to do so, is to lose your persona entirely and become I am concentrated in a body with no blocking. This path requires you to release the life and people you know, because if you become fully I am, all lives are yours, just as all people are you. How do we know which path to take? Listen to your inner voice. Ask yourself. Okay, so how exactly do you send the thoughts to Aaron's head? I'm not sending thoughts to Aaron's head. I am Aaron's head. Nothing in this physical world is real. It's just a projection from universal mind in the spiritual world. Imagine that I have a giant mind, and there's no physical world. My giant mind is thinking an infinite number of thoughts at the same time. And each of those thoughts is projecting something into a physical reality that is only real because I'm thinking it. One of these thoughts that I'm thinking is projecting Aaron into existence in this physical world. And that thought is constantly making her alive and move. You have one of these thoughts attached to you, and that's why you're here. Imagine a ray of light. This isn't accurate. It's just a picture to give you an idea. Imagine in the sky there's heaven, and my mind is this heaven. It's not how it is, I'm just trying to help you visualize. And down from heaven is a ray of light that goes straight into your head, and that's me. That's what gives you life and creative ability. There's a similar ray going straight into Aaron's head. Both are me. Both are thinking different thoughts simultaneously. And there are another 6 billion rays coming down on this planet thinking different thoughts simultaneously. That's hard to visualize. I'm not placing thoughts in Aaron's head as if she doesn't normally have my thoughts in her head. She's alive, moving around, thinking and creating because I'm always in her head. However, I'm working through her persona, which is there because it's been created. There are people who have contacted I Am before. Why do some of them believe they're channeling something outside of themselves? It all comes down to the fact that their persona has not been introduced to the idea that we are all one, and that there is only one in the entire universe. I can tell you everything about the truth, but I can't give you specific examples that Aaron has been exposed to. It's the same thing for them. They can be told about the truth, but they fit it into what they have been exposed to. They are receiving the thought, and they translate it to fit into what they already know. Erin couldn't be receiving me like this if she hadn't read a book where she was introduced to the idea of oneness. She would be receiving the same blocks of thought from me, but she would be translating them in a different way. Oh, so you are able to explain this to us because, whether we accept it or not, we've been introduced to it. That's right. People who think they channel something outside of themselves are receiving the same thoughts from me. Everyone's inner voice is the same universal mind. The translations from channelers, lots of them are very similar to fluency. But they give me the meaning of the same, because when a channel receives the thought, that's how they felt it. Often, the meaning is taught in another culture, but they are not aware of it. What fulfills it? A collection of beliefs you have built up in your mind. If you haven't heard something before, and something contradictory exists in your culture, you'll have a hard time believing in the information. That makes sense. How do you know that Erin is translating the thoughts that you're sending us correctly? Is there a truth beyond this that we are blocking out because we haven't been introduced to it yet? Look at all the great texts since the beginning of the physical world. They translate into almost the exact same words of oneness that Erin is translating for you right now. Now that you've said that, I see that our culture is drenched in it whether you are aware of it or not. It's everywhere. Every culture and religion is. I see it in every ancient text, and every book I am looking at. It's all over the place, staring me in the face. Yes. It's just a matter of accepting it. Yes. Beyond an intellectual level. Yes. There is no reason to doubt it when there is evidence all over the world that it is. There is a reason those who have been successful know this. Because it is. Did Tolstoy understand that our inner voice is God when he wrote, "The kingdom of God is within you"? I can tell you that quote means we are all God. But I can also tell you that you and Erin have read and heard that quote many times and not fully understood it. Yes, that's what it means? That we are God? Yes. I Am has built each body as a vessel to live inside. Like a clone? Not a clone. It is a direct link to the spiritual world of universal mind. There's no separation. The physical world is an illusion being projected from the mind of I Am in the spiritual world. I Am doesn't have to separate any part of itself from the spiritual mind to come into these bodies. Does that make sense? Not completely, but it's starting to. I have a picture in my mind that makes sense. But do I fully grasp what you're explaining? I don't think so. You need to hear all of this more. For example, Erin's rereading the same pages in a book that she read a few days ago that didn't really make any sense to her. Tonight, she was reading just a few of the paragraphs, and she thought, oh, that's so simple. I can't believe that wasn't clear before. Your understanding will grow as your knowing grows. Eventually, what I just explained won't have to be explained to you. In the future, this will be simple and obvious to me. Everything that we're discussing now is something you've never heard before. Once you familiarize yourself with it, it will become part of you, part of your knowing. Anything you've ever learned in your life was something that you didn't know until you were told. In every instance, you probably didn't grasp it right away. Every time you reacquainted yourself with the material, your sureness grew until you thought, why would anyone even question that? Right. There definitely are things I didn't understand before that seems obvious now. Will writing this book help me to fully understand that I am God? Yes. Although your understanding will not be complete until you can talk to I Am just as clearly through your own head as you can talk to Erin's I Am. When talking to my I Am, isn't that Erin's I Am? Isn't it the same I Am? Yes. Yes, it is. It's the same. That's hard to grasp. I mean, I understand conceptually. You are not going to fully grasp it until you start talking to your inner voice and recognize that I Am is not separate from you. It is you. So, how exactly has it come to this point where nobody knows the truth? Lots of people know the truth, that they are God and their thoughts create. But they are a very small percentage of the whole. So, would you say that people find a piece of the truth, and it's brilliant and amazing? They think, yes, this is awesome, and they mistake it for the whole truth? There is only one truth. I am, and I create. Lots of other ideas have pieces of this truth, but they don't have the whole puzzle. That's not the truth. Still, for some people, when they find a little piece of something that they can feel has some truth in it, it is enough for them. I Am always knows the truth. But beyond that, how I Am comes to you is not always going to be accurate. The closer to the actual truth you are, that I Am is the one creator and is inside of you in entirety, the more creative power you will have. The more fully you understand you are God, what I Am is, the more power you'll have to create? Yes. And you're saying how well you come to understand I Am, or how I Am comes to you, is based on your internal beliefs and your understanding of the world. What you believe is. So if you believe that I Am can only speak to you through a channel of some other being, then that's the only way you'll accept it. And you will hear it that way. Yes. Why is it that some people who think they're channeling are able to create so well, but most people, the vast majority of people who try to learn to do what they're teaching, have such a hard time making it work? People who think they are channeling are accessing their inner voice and allowing themselves to be guided. They feel the truth in it, the knowing that what they think will become for them. The people who are listening to them think they only have access to me through channelers, or psychics, or something outside themselves. Even if they go to these middlemen for access, it's just going to be a one-time thing. They don't have the constant guide that I am. They don't know yet that it's possible to have access to their inner voice whenever they want. Main thoughts from day 4. Humans are the only species that think and create. You can choose to follow your destiny or create something different. You have a choice to have a persona or be fully I am. Humans' thoughts are God's thoughts. When we are exposed to new information, we filter it through what we already believe. Ideas of oneness have been recorded since the beginning of history. Everyone can access their inner voice. Day 5. Why you think you're not God. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that honors the servant and has forgotten the gift. Albert Einstein. Our persona is limiting our ability to hear our inner voice? Yes. Lots of people embrace their persona and block their inner self. They do not recognize that their thoughts created everything that surrounds them, and everything they have become. Some don't want to believe that their thoughts are responsible. That's why people have created this idea of an evil God. They don't like what they've created. People who say God is all loving and mean it are really happy. They may not understand that they are God, but they feel that God is shining love down upon them instead of judgment. So it's really people judging themselves, not God. Absolutely. Right and wrong, good and bad are human creations. Some would rather think that this idea of a God outside of them is responsible, and that he is mean and doesn't love them. That would explain why they find themselves in what they feel is misery. If you are looking at your life and you are unhappy with what surrounds you and what you are, it is because you are not aware of your creative power. If you are happy with what surrounds you, it's because you understand that you have a power on some level. You know you are more than the doubts and fears of your persona. So tell me more about the persona. What is the persona? The persona is the part of you that believes you are not God, and believes that we are not all one. It's a gift that you're given when you come into a body in the physical world that allows you to believe you are an individual. Because of the persona, you are able to have a multitude of experiences as an individual. Your persona doesn't change the truth about who you are, but it exists in the physical world because it has been created. There is only one real truth. That truth is you are God, and your thoughts create. When your parents found out that they were pregnant with you, they began thinking thoughts about you, guessing what you would be like, hoping and worrying about you. Their thoughts started to create your persona. When they told other people that they were pregnant, those people started thinking thoughts about you too. They wondered and worried about you. Doctors started thinking thoughts about you. When you were born, the doctor and the nurse examined you, and that started to create upon you. Then you were given a name, and your name wasn't God. Your name was Joe or Anne, and you grew up believing that's who you were. You were an individual. You weren't part of the oneness that is God. It's not truth, but it's a creation, so it exists in the physical world. My persona is not something I created. It's something other people created for me. For the first few years of your life, you're only being created upon. You are running on a blueprint. You are made of I am. But I am's consciousness is not in you creating with its thoughts. But at a certain age, it varies depending on the persona. I am's consciousness and ability to create with thoughts enters into the child. It's about this time that a person will remember their first memory. You had a very limited ability to remember before then, because I am's consciousness was not in you yet. When I am's consciousness is in you, your thoughts join with everyone else's to continue creating your persona. In most cases, you will continue reinforcing what other people are creating upon you. If you're told that you're a great kid who is smart and awesome all the time, you'll believe it. You'll walk around knowing how awesome you are. You'll tell people, I'm a great kid, I'm awesome, I'm really smart. Those thoughts will be created and recreated constantly. And that's what you'll grow up believing. If somebody at some point says you're stupid or bad, you'll start wondering, am I stupid? Am I bad? The more you think about it, the more you'll start creating it. So you create a persona too. But you don't start creating upon your own persona until you're old enough for I am to be thinking and creating in your body. Why does I am wait to go into the body? Why not go in right away? So your persona can be created. I am wants to create personas? Why would I am do that to itself? I am wants to be heard and be I am. But at the same time, I am wants to have individual experiences. Having the persona as a veil between humans and who they really are is the only way to have individual experiences. Without personas, I am has full knowing of its oneness, with everything in both the spiritual and physical worlds. This is pure joy, but limits the physical experiences I am can have. So personas exist so I am can have individual experiences? Yes. For example, when you love someone, you believe that they are a separate individual, and forming a connection of oneness with them feels joyful. Love is the closest humans get to feeling what it is to be fully God, and that's why love feels so wonderful. Another example is fulfilling your blueprint. If you had no persona, there would be no opportunities to learn and grow, because you would have full knowing of who you are. The persona allows I am to come into human bodies and experience being individuals who learn and grow and make choices. The persona really is a gift, the gift of individuality. If you feel that your life is full of opportunity to create more of what you want, you are likely to view the persona as a gift. If you feel that your life is happening to you, and you have no power to create what you want, you may not view your persona as a gift. So I am is seeking self-expression, and the persona is preventing that? Yes, the persona is afraid. Why is the persona afraid? The persona is afraid that you will find out that it is not real. Like you, it's afraid of dying. Most people's number one fear is dying, isn't it? Can you think of anything someone would be more afraid of? No. Why is that? It's because they're the persona, and that's the persona's fear. It's afraid of dying because it knows it doesn't really exist. The persona knows when this body dies, it turns to dust. I am is not afraid of dying because I am knows that the only thing that's real is I am. And I am cannot die. But everyone is still I am, even if they think they're the persona? Yes. So they don't really die. No. But as an individual, as a persona, you were created this one time. There aren't going to be the same unique experiences and people to create your exact persona ever again. Once your body dies, your persona is not coming back, because it never really existed in the first place. It's just a creation. So when the persona dies, all that's left is I am. We have no choice but to realize we are I am at that point. Yes. You'll know immediately. You'll be one with I am in the spiritual world, radiating love. All the thoughts and memories of your body will still be in universal mind in the spiritual world. Someone dreaming 2,000 years from now might experience part of your life in his dreams, because those memories and thoughts will always be swirling around in universal mind in the spiritual world. In that way, the experiences of all personas live on. What are the ways the persona seeks to maintain its control and limit us from realizing where I am? Every tactic the persona uses is fear. There isn't anything else. That sums up all of the thoughts in the world. Either you know you're I am, or you're afraid. So this fear that the persona is using, how does it manifest in our world? What are some of the results that we see? It obviously has a huge impact on the shape of our society and how people interact. The biggest thing is that people allow governments and individuals with more perceived authority to have control and influence over them. They allow other people to tell them what to do. So the persona wants control because it's afraid? Yes. The persona has control because it's afraid. The persona is afraid because deep inside, it knows who you really are. It knows that it's just a creation, and you're God. So right now, Aaron's persona is only allowing through information that it believes it has access to. Because to allow anything else through would be denying its own existence? Yes. That's what blocking is. It's the persona protecting itself from the truth? Yes. But earlier you said that the persona knows the truth but doesn't want you to find out. Who is the you that you're referring to if there is only I am and Aaron? I am obviously knows the truth and is trying to tell Aaron the truth.